Little Rising started as an organization that was focused on the historic preservation of the Little Manila Historic Site, which we're in right now in downtown Stockton, just south of the Crosstown Freeway. And we started it because Little Manila, the historic site, was destroyed in the 1960s and 70s due to urban revitalization and the building of freeways. And so, of course, Crosstown Freeway was built right through the middle of the community, pretty much destroying it. And as we come into play around 1999, after we come back from college and take these ethnic studies courses, we learn about our history, we find that one of the last remaining blocks of Little Manila was set for demolition. Literally, there was a wrecking ball in front of the buildings as we came back in a town. The Crosstown Freeway is basically a freeway that was built through the heart of many communities of color right through here, through Stockton. So of course, Little Manila, Chinatown, Barrio del Chivo, and the Black community in Boggs Tract was destroyed by the building of the Crosstown Freeway. And so literally you have homes right across the street from a freeway, and which creates this community in which you're almost destined to have asthma or some type of respiratory disease. And I think that's the culture that we want to change. I think AB617 gives us that shot to get people to understand that, give them the tools to do something about it, and hopefully have more lives to share together as families.
Conway Homes is 436 units. Our biggest challenge is getting to the grocery store. We don't have a safe street to get there. And most of us don't have cars. We don't have that many choices either. We only have Food for Less, which is in Western Ranch. From here it's south along that wall that we have. And it's Matthew Road. Matthew Road does not have any lighting. It does not have any stop signs. It does not have any sidewalks. It does not have any shade. So we have to share the road with the cars. And that's a challenge, especially the women with small children. They have to make sure that they don't run into the streets. We have the Van Busker Golf Course right now. It's closed because they can't maintain it. So every once in a while there'll be a fire. People just tend to go in the park and start fires. Maybe the children, I don't know, but we have a fear that we're going to be the next Paradise. It's going to put all our houses in danger. It's going to put our health in danger. We had the pallet fire out in Boggs Tract, I think it was. That was another one. It was scary. All that wind blew down here. We're downwind from there. So everything that happens in Boggs Tract comes down this way. What originally brought me up to AB617 was Washington School. My son goes to Washington School out in Boggs Tract. I know they made some changes, but there's still a lot of exhaust, a lot of industry around that area, and it concerns me that my children are out there in the hot sun running a mile. So that concerns me. To me, it's going to be future health problems. Most all the residents have asthma. Their kids have asthma. They have inhalers. Yeah, most of them.
The biggest challenge is that face Stockton is that most of the time they don't put money to resources like this park. You know, it's beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. I came here like 10 years ago. It wasn't like this. You know, you see all the trunk, the branches, it's kind of wither. And as a resident of this particular area, I'm more concerned about the students near my school at Victory Park, the way they breathe. What improvements I'd like to see in Stockton is that we need to have more awareness. I think also due to a lot of congestion, they should use electrical vehicle, electrical bikes, electrical scooter, electrical car. And low it has potential, but we need to wake up everyone to remind, hey, this is still a valuable asset. We have beautiful park toward the Delta.
I myself have asthma. I ended up getting asthma when I started teaching in this area. And this year, I had a lot of students that had asthma. And I started learning a lot, like the air. And I was telling Jonathan, oh yeah, we have sulfur. It's like it hits you, like you want to faint. So that's why I got involved, because I'm interested in how, as a teacher, I can make a difference.
Well, what I noticed, because I'm part of the community center, when I come and meet with our family members within this community, I noticed that the elderly, they be coughing a lot. What else can we bring? I know that having a lot of trees around this surrounding areas, it is perfect, so we can bring more oxygen and clean the air for them.
Well, one of the things I hope by being on the steering committee is not only helping my school, but the center and the community itself. Because as you can see, some of them have dead trees. We need to help build that. They also need to understand the importance of everything else, from recycling to everything that affects the community. So I think the first thing they understand is the air, how important it is that when you're elderly, sometimes it's not great to be out here.
I mean, we would love to have something for this community besides the community forum and the community center and our school. Because as it is, there's not even a store for them to buy their groceries. We only have a liquor store.
To make economic development out here and just building the roads, we aren't really measuring the drawbacks when we're just measuring GDP growth. So I think that has really caused a lot of issues out in this community. And then the freeway came in and it became bisected by this industrial megapolis that we're right on the edge of now. And so we see all the dust when the farmers start tilling their fields. We see all the smoke from the energy plant. If we can start promoting trees and urban forestry, and not just for shade, but also for food, and get people to think about designing this city based off those trees, that can be one of the key turning points, I think, in sucking up a lot of this pollution and regenerating the environment.
There are some physical improvements happening here in Sierra Vista. I know that there's renovations that are taking place, and hopefully that'll improve. But what's really needed is a lot of green space, because we have the big issue is obviously the pollution with the airport, and now even you have the trucks, what have you, that go by. So the green space is something that's needed to circumvent all of that, all of the smog, everything that we have that's going on with those vehicles. And that's especially needed, especially when you're a young person trying to do positive activities like exercise.
Over on the side, we used to go here, when I was a kid, we used to go fishing at what we call the creek. And we used to get crawfish, but we can't do that now because it's more polluted.
For me, it's important that AB617 is out here in this neighborhood, and especially for programming. You see there's a lot of kids out today when we came, and they're out playing, and I know it's, with COVID and everything, but there's still virtual programming that could be done. And then also for the people that are out here, the teenagers that are out here, to see that there's green jobs available for them.
And so now we're coming back to our neighborhood to try and help and say, okay, we learned a little bit more. We came better, so this is what we need.
We all moved on from the Vista, but we come back because we care about this place, because we know the heart of this place and the families and the kids that are here, So now's the time for groups to come in and really work with the community, while there's people that are coming back to the community that are educated and really want to work within the community.
So here we have the Port of Stockton, and then we have Lewis Park. Lewis Park is one of the biggest parks in the city of Stockton. And then on the other side of Lewis Park, you have the apartments. And those apartments are pretty new, they look really nice. But along those areas of the park, on the apartments, there are also a lot of other issues. Say, for example, you have them pretty close by on the I-5 corridor, and then also the homeless encampments, where they like to burn a lot of trash and who knows what else. Stockton, unfortunately, is at a disadvantage geographically, being put in an area where it's mostly for goods movement. A lot of truck traffic, a lot of cars traveling outside of city. I mean, they live here in city, or sometimes they're coming from Sacramento, but having to come down south. And then of course here, as we can see in my background, the Port of Stockton. Port of Stockton has been here for a very long time. That's pretty much how downtown Stockton was made, to bring in some industry going. For residents, it does kind of become a disadvantage when from both sides of the area, there's a lot of carbon emission. and pollution. So the AB617, I believe, is going to really showcase the data, being able to provide that strong data that we can then say for a city council member or to the state, saying, hey, we have bad air quality in these certain areas. And then when it comes to land use policies and when dealing with general plans, we'll start to be more understanding, and the city and planners will start to then realize, based off of the data that we have, we need to be more careful and sustainable.